Are you aware of what your brain is doing when you're drawing? Have you ever thought about your thoughts while doing art? What if I told you that just by changing the way you think while you draw, you could become a better artist? Basically overnight. Hi, I'm Snowmew, and we're going to talk about kind of what your brain's doing when you're both learning and just drawing for fun. I want you to think back to the last time you were drawing, or maybe you're drawing right now, and think about what your brain is doing. Are you listening to music? Are you singing along with some words? Are you thinking about your pen on the paper? Are you thinking about the shape that you're about to draw? Are you thinking about what you ate for lunch? Or maybe that guy at school? Well, a lot of the times when we draw, we're just kind of drawing, and we're not really aware of what our brain is doing. This is especially true for beginners. A lot of the times, beginners will focus on things that they're doing wrong, or that line that they just drew doesn't look so good, or, the scratchiness of their pen against the paper is a little irritating, whatever. When I've chatted with artists, there's a major difference that I notice between the pros and the beginners, and it's what their brain is doing while they're drawing. I know when I first started out drawing, I was just trying to get my idea on the paper, but 90% of the time my brain is just constantly thinking, oh, this doesn't look like what's in my head, oh, this isn't going to come out right. Overall, pretty negative thoughts. It didn't stop me from drawing. I continued on and just kind of accepted that the thing that I was going to be drawing was horrible and going to come out super ugly, which usually it did. But that was, mostly because I didn't have much skill in drawing. I would often draw and be kind of distracted with a show or a game running at the same time. I would be talking with someone, either someone who was sitting next to me, or, virtually texting or messaging through a computer or what have you. So I wasn't really focused on drawing, which also made my drawing take 10 times longer than it probably should have. Relatedly, I wasn't ever aware of what my body was doing outside of my hands, or really what my hands were doing as a beginner, but, we did our best. But I was thinking about where that energy, the tense energy was while I was drawing. A lot of times I'd be gripping my pencil with white knuckles and locking my shoulders. And over the years, I became more aware of this and was able to relax while I drew. I was able to make sure that I wasn't injuring myself while putting pen to paper. Sometimes I'll still catch myself while I'm trying to rush or do something quickly, and I get that tense feeling in my neck, or I'm hunched over and I'm in a horrible posture and everything's kind of aching. Usually that impacts my drawing to the point where I'll actually take a stretch break and relax and come back to the drawing and see a noticeable improvement over what I had just drawn and what I had drawn after I took the break and mindfully relaxed before I put pen to paper. So something a lot of artists don't talk about is what's going on in your brain and what's going on in your muscles while you're drawing. I promise you, if you start to become aware of what your brain's doing and what you're thinking about while you're drawing, you'll improve so much faster than you have before when you've been drawing distracted or trying to multitask. Recently, I heard this analogy where drawing is like driving a car. And I found it really interesting because it was from Proko, and his point was, when you're driving a car, you're not looking at the steering wheel and hoping the car goes in the right direction, down the right street to get you to your destination. When you're driving a car, you're looking at the road, hopefully further down the road, and your muscles are doing what they need to do to drive the car to where you want it to go. With art, a lot of the times, especially early on, I notice myself included, a lot of beginners are staring at the tip of their pencil while they try to draw what they want to draw. This is sort of like staring at the steering wheel when you're driving a car. It doesn't really work to your best interests, right? Yeah, you'll get there, but you probably had to spend a lot more energy doing some kind of translation of brain to point you're staring at to end destination. But if you just think and look where you want to go, your muscles will get you there. And sure, when you first started driving a car, it was a little confusing, right? Like, I swapped my turn signals and my windshield wipers all the time. I didn't really have the cognitive capacity to deal with the radio and all of that stuff over there on the dash while I was driving. But now, I can, click something on the console and be driving down the freeway and be thinking about what I had for breakfast. And it's all kind of second nature. With drawing, our goal is to kind of get there, but make sure that everything is supporting your muscles in order to do so. So, as an art athlete, you want to train yourself to think about the destination for your drawing and then get your muscles to do what you want. So the next time you're drawing, think about, the head shape or the face or whatever. And really specifically, think about that next shape you want to draw. Envision how you'd like it to look on the paper as best you can. And sometimes early on, I know a lot of people tell me it's kind of fuzzy or they can't do that and it's really difficult. But I promise you it gets easier over time as long as you keep trying to do it. So take that cognitive step. Think about the shape you're drawing next. This works really well if you're doing a reference study, like you have a picture of a portrait, and you're drawing from reference. Analyze that shape of like the eye. Look at your drawing. And then without staring at the tip of your pencil, look at where that shape wants to be on your paper and use your hand to draw that shape. Nobody explicitly told me this when I first started out, and I feel like I figured it out on my own. But if somebody told me early on that I shouldn't be staring at the tip of my pencil when I was drawing, I would have improved so much faster and so much more accurately. I would have started thinking in shapes earlier on and thinking in spaces and, relative positioning of the picture that I'm drawing earlier on, rather than just trying to draw a line here and a line there and follow the tip of my pencil down the paper and hope that everything kind of ends up where it should be, which of course I never did. And then on top of that, once I got kind of used to that thinking and process, I would make sure that I would kind of check in with myself and be like, okay, where is my posture? Where are my shoulders? How am I sitting? Am I relaxed? Is my arm in a weird position? Am I rotating my sketchbook correctly so I'm not drawing in like weird directions? Drawing should be fun. Both, emotionally engaging as well as, physically delightful, I guess. No one should be super tense while drawing. It stresses you out, right? And you have to take that stress with you after you finish your drawing. So relax. Draw at your own pace. I've said this before, but I want to repeat it. Don't draw faster than your brain can think. Make sure you're thinking about that next shape. Just practice envisioning what you want on the paper as the next step. You don't have to picture the whole freaking thing. It'll get there. Trust in the process. But the next shape or the next relative position or the spacing or whatever. And then move your pencil to put that down. If you're new to this concept, it's going to feel real weird. And you're like, I'm not going to, I don't get it. This is dumb. But try it. See what happens. And then check in with yourself and make sure you're relaxed. and you're not moving too quickly and too with urgency. And then, after a week of trying that, compare your drawings from before you did that until after, and see if there's improvement, or see if there's any changes in one way or another. Not only will this get you thinking like the pros and get you to improve quicker, it will also build your confidence, because you'll start to see that the stuff that you think of ends up on the paper the way that you want it to, which is awesome. Like, it's a great feeling. You're like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted, or pretty close, a lot closer than it used to be. That confidence will translate into your strokes and your line art and your sketching and your emotions that come across in the drawings. That confidence will really help you improve, because it'll make it more fun. You'll want to draw more. You'll start looking up, how to draw certain things. You'll push the boundaries of what you're comfortable drawing, because you're thinking and breaking everything down into the shapes and the next step that you're doing. And as long as you're moving forward and taking step after step after step, you will finish that drawing, and it'll come out better than the last one you did, because you're practicing and you're building up that muscle memory, and you're reaching a point where you can look down the road and your muscles and your body and your mind will get you there. This is how all of those pros you watch on YouTube or Twitch or wherever, TikTok, how they sketch a portrait so perfectly without construction lines and without any sort of plan, and it just comes out of their head onto the paper. They have all of that knowledge, all of that thinking in 3D space, turning those forms in their head, shape language, all in their brain that they've synthesized, and now they can think at a rate that lets them draw a hand from nothing. You'll get there too. You just may have to start kind of on step one, and drawing those constructions and drawing slowly and making sure that you are deliberately thinking about that next step. So anyway, try it. See what happens. Report back and let me know. If this is all hooey, I'd love to hear it. If it ended up working out, I'd love to hear it as well. Definitely worked for me, and I feel a lot more confident over the years drawing from scratch, even drawing from reference. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Till then, Snowmew out.